So we got a crazy-ass military full of mindless murderers. When I commented on Shamar Thomas at Occupy Wall Street, saying he was a coward for not attacking the police that he saw attacking the cops, various military people, supposed, and their supporters were doing everything up to and including death threats against me for saying he's a mindless murderer for going to Iraq and Afghanistan, and he's a mindless murderer for telling the cops, if you want to hurt people, go to Iraq, go to Afghanistan. And I was saying he's a coward because he didn't actually stop the violence that he said he saw against protesters. So, that aside, mindless murderers in the military, how does it keep going? Why does our culture not stop it? Well, because our social engineers are just too effective. They're good at making the bad causes we fight for seem good. And one of the best ways that they do that, most effective ways, is by putting women in the military. Because with women in the military, you can humanize the military. You can show a mom in her fatigues in absolutely terrible shape. I mean, the women in the military would never make it as men in the military. They show the woman in fatigues coming home and hugging her daughter, and you can run that on the front page. And hey, look, our military is full of humans, and who are they killing? Oh, just some non-human Middle Easterners. Oh, okay. So here is an example of women in the military. That is Corporal Kelsey Santis. You can look her up. She asked Justin Timberlake to the Marine Corps ball, and he went with her. Isn't that sweet? Doesn't that humanize the war? Look behind her. A whole bunch of mindless murderers who would kill you if you offended Kelsey. They're gentlemen. They're real men. There's never an excuse to offend a woman. So those mindless murderers would certainly kill you if you offend Kelsey. So, mindless murderers defending women, that's good. Mindless murderers defending U.S. freedom, somehow. That's good too. Okay, well, what about when mindless murderers go haywire, like Calvin Gibbs? Him and a handful of other U.S. heroes are charged with killing the wrong people for sport. In Afghanistan, they allegedly killed 3 people. It's just 3 people. They just killed 3 people. They killed a lot more, but those were people that someone said, go and kill them. Oh, okay. If they thought about it in those circumstances, if they tell you kill this person, and you think about it, you can be put to death under the UCMJ. During time of war, you cannot disobey orders. You can't, well, let me think about this. Let me be a human. You cannot support the troops. You can only support the policies. They cannot go against the policies, or they can be put to death. That's the UCMJ. So, in Afghanistan, Calvin Gibbs, I think his name is Calvin, Gibbs and a handful are in trouble by hypocritical chain of command, Calvin Gibbs, for killing the wrong people, cutting their fingers off for trophies, breaking their teeth out for trophies and whatnot. So that doesn't really do anything against this. Women in the military, you know, we have women and children that we're protecting, and some of our brave service women. So you can't just say, oh, well, a couple of Marines went haywire and murdered some Afghanis. Who gives a hell? Who gives a shit? Who the hell cares about some Middle Easterners? Afghanistan. However, what about this guy? This guy is Andrew Urdiales. Andrew Urdiales went crazy, just like Gibbs went crazy, like, hey, don't kill the wrong people. But Andrew Urdiales didn't just kill Afghanis. He killed white women here in America, here in San Diego, in fact. He's a serial killer. He killed like a half dozen prostitutes and some other women that weren't prostitutes. So he's a serial killer because he killed the wrong people. Now imagine what the military's done so far, just in the course of this video. They ruin the lives all around the world in the name of freedom. They turn Corporal Kelsey into a gimmick that humanizes our inhumane acts around the world, our being the military. They ruin Andrew Urdiales' life turning him into a serial killer. They ruin Calvin Gibbs' life, making him into an insane person who goes on sport killing events, not very far removed from just mindlessly killing in the name of war. None of that matters, does it? It's not important. Because the real deal is women and children. That's the, as we say in debate, that's the criteria. That's the thing that matters. Okay, so the thing that matters is women. So what I have to do better than, I have to improve upon this. This marginally attractive Marine, Kelsey DeSantis. Okay, let's try to improve upon her. Robin Brandley. Robin Brandley was one of Andrew Urdiales' victims. And she was a woman. And she looked like that. So there you have it. Let's compare her to the marginally attractive. So there's that mindless killing machine that probably doesn't even kill because she doesn't have to do her job because she's a woman in the military. And then there's that. So it's not just frivolous when I say that one is more attractive than the other. The fact is, this person will be more cared about because she is more attractive. And therefore, the whole argument falls that women and children need to be protected, and so we have to humanize our warriors. Our warriors come home, they suffer post-traumatic stress. Even if they're homeless, 30% of homeless in the United States are veterans. We don't care so much about that, nearly as much as we care about humanizing the wars, sending people like Kelsey off to Marine balls with Justin Timberlake. And meanwhile, people like Robin Brandley are killed by people like Urdiales. So the military has ruined all those lives, turned Urdiales into a killer, turned Calvin Gibbs into a killer, and now is going to shame them both for killing in the wrong instances. There's a word for that. It's just called hypocrisy. To say that killing is wrong when you don't give the go-ahead. And there you have it. Our military, the United States military, ruins United States lives.